another thing that I see. You have a number 25.
Yes, this was a porcelain license tag that was available for people who rode on the Long Island Motor Parkway. This is really the first Easy Pass. So people, if they wanted to ride on the Parkway for a year, would purchase this. And when they went through the different toll lodges,
they had different toll lodges.
They were different. It was a
toll, which people don't realize too.
It was a toll road, and there were 12 toll lodges at various times throughout the length of the Motor Parkway. And people would put this, they would purchase this, put this on the car, and they didn't have to pay for that. The toll lodge keeper would just say, wave them ahead. So this was the first Easy Pass.
One I know is they moved to Garden City. There was one that was in Great Neck.
Yeah, there are remnants of the toll lodges that still exist. The best preservation is definitely Garden City. That was near Clinton Road, and they moved it into the village of Garden City, and they've done a wonderful job preserving it. It's now the headquarters for the Chamber of Commerce in Garden City. So if you want to see what the toll lodges look like, go to Garden City.
Right, over the line. That's in Hempstead, but we have to promote that too, because when somebody takes the time to preserve a bit of history, that's okay to give them a plug too.
That's true.
Well, this is great. Is there anything else that people should come away with, or something that they should learn from digging back in history and taking a look at things such as the cup, and that Tiffany was involved in putting that together, was also another family of the time?
Yes. Well, you know, to me, what's amazing about this after doing all this research is really the role that Long Island had on the automobile industry here. It really was the place where people would innovate on the automobile, where this was the first place that automobile races were held in this country. It was the place where everybody involved with the automobile industry would come for these races. They would share ideas, and I think they saw the enthusiasm of the crowd and said, you know what, there's potential here. And one of the first directors of the Vanderbilt Cup races was Henry Ford, and this was before he went in and made mass production of the cars. He was a director in the 1905 race. He went to the race, and he saw these crowds of 100,000 people watching cars. And remember, as you said, these cars were mainly for the wealthy. And he was looking at everybody getting so excited. He says, well, I think at that point, he said, you know what, there's possibility here that we can develop cars for the masses as well. And sure enough, later on in that part of the decade, he started mass producing cars as well. So I think it really started here on Long Island with the enthusiasm of the Vanderbilt Cup races. The American cars started to get better. We started winning the 1908 race. They won the 1909 and the 1910 races as well. So it really did have a dramatic impact on the automobile industry, and I think it also had a dramatic impact on Long Island too. It brought attention to Long Island, and as the cars started to develop, the Long Island Motor Parkway started bringing cars out from New York City. I think it really did help in the development of Long Island. One example of that is the Hempstead Plains. In the book here, you'll see what it looked like 100 years ago, and there's acres and acres where there's not a single tree, and that is now Levittown. And now there's trees, there's homes throughout, but it's amazing the transformation.
We have pictures in the archives at Town Hall of a place in Great Neck where they were selling Ford motor cars. I think you're absolutely right that this was the Gold Coast. This was the area where the wealthy people could come, but because of the people that would stand and watch these races, they said, gee, I'd like one of those too.
Exactly.
So they had to start producing them for the masses.
Right, and in my research I see that. I see different articles where they said, you know, I attended the Vanderbilt Cup races. I want to get a car. I want to get a car. And it was the equivalent of people saying, gee, I want to have a small jet. You know, it was that expensive because these cars were the equivalent costing today would be about 100,000, 200,000 and up. So, you know, with people like Henry Ford, the cars started to become accessible to people.
What other families that people might know about were involved in putting this together?
Yeah, well, it was the Whitneys. Payne Whitney was a resident of Manhasset, was very big. It was all of Vanderbilt's friends. The Belmonts were part of it. You know, it was very much not only exciting for the automobile manufacturers, but high society too. This was always a race where all society came out and made sure they were out in the grandstand in the finest clothes.
Sure. Well, the Whitney Estate, of course, right in the heart of the town of North Hempstead, right between Shelter Rock Road and Searingtown Road, and that was the property, of course, that became North Shore University Hospital,
right,
which is North Shore LIJ now, but that was right on the Whitney Estate. So I think it gives people a frame of reference of the time of who was here.
Exactly.
At the turn of the century.
Yeah, it was the Mackeys were there. They're always present. It was a very exciting time.
Well, I thank you so much for sharing all of the memorabilia, all the history, the stories, and I thank everybody for joining us here today to learn a little bit about the history of Long Island, the history of the Vanderbilt Motor Parkway, and the Vanderbilt Cup. I hope you'll join us next time on North Hempstead TV. I'm your host, Leslie Gross, and we'll be motoring on now. Thanks for joining us.